Hello and welcome to ReginaldESQ. I'm Underhook and this is my review of the American Tier 6 heavy tank, the M6. So is it any good? It's okay. Nothing I love about this tank, but nothing I hate about this tank either. It's okay. Now, I did review the T1 heavy, the Tier 5 version, and pretty much it's the same tank. It has a slight armor upgrade just in the front section here. The turret traverse is actually 2 degrees slower, and it has a much better gun. But other than that, it is exactly the same tank. So, I did say the T1 was great at Tier 5, okay at Tier 6, and not so good at Tier 7. Well, this one is okay at Tier 6, kind of just a pass at Tier 7, and pretty bad at Tier 8. But I didn't mind playing it. It has 870 hit points, which is average for a Tier 6 heavy tank. The most goes to, of course, the Top 2 premium tank with 1400, but if we discount that because it's a bit of an anomaly, the Churchill 7 has 960 hit points, and the KV-1S has 810 hit points, which is the least, although that could change with the KV-85 coming up in the next patch. Weight-wise, of course, the TOG is heaviest at 81 tons, but the M6 is the next heaviest at 58.4 tons, so feel free to ram anybody in your tier except the TOG. You can even ram some Tier 7 heavy tanks with this and do pretty well out of it. It's a heavy tank. Speed-wise, 35 km an hour in forward is on the lower side of average, and the reverse speed of 10 km an hour is a little disappointing for a tank that needs to be driven like a medium tank. The fastest in class is the VK3601H German tank with 50 km an hour in forward, and the slowest is the Churchill 7 at 20, and of course the TOG at 14. So it's not bad. It's not bad at 35. Track traverse of 25 is pretty good and is exactly the same as it was on the T1, so you can still maneuver a little bit like a medium tank. It's the second best in class, the best being the KV-1S with 30 degrees. Turret traverse of 29 is disappointing because it's slower than it was on the T1 at 31 with a fully trained crew. So yeah, that is disappointing, and the turret is, look, if you look at the two of them, they look identical in every way and have the identical armor specifications. So, but it's heavier for some reason. So, I don't know why, and it's annoying that it's slower. Now, the slowest turret traverse in class would be the KV-2 with 17, of course. But the fastest turret traverses actually go to the TOG 2 with 33 and the Churchill 7 with 31. So 29 is still up there, it's not too bad. View range of 350, is it 350? Yep, 350 is average for its class. And the signal range of 480 is also average for its class. Camouflage wise, this tank is just like the T1, it's terrible. And it is in fact the second worst, the worst being the KV-2. And it's only, believe it or not, just better than the KV-2. The KV-2 does have a huge turret, but the top deck of the KV-2 is not as high as this tank, so it actually, this one's almost as bad. So don't bother trying to hide anywhere. Gun depression wise, it is excellent, just like the T1, has 10 degrees of gun depression, and that is the best. Also has 30 degrees of elevation, which is also the best. So the gun is very usable, very flexible. And the fact that the turret is towards the front of the tank like the T1 and to the front of the armor means that hull down tactics do work in this tank, and shooting over the crest of the hills does work because it means you also present just the turret, which is a much smaller part of your tank. However, the frontal turret armor stood up pretty good at Tier 5. Well, yeah, it's a Tier 6 tank now with the same turret armor we had before. It just doesn't hold up as well now as it did before. The worst gun depression at this tier goes to the Churchill 7 with 4 degrees and 12 degrees of elevation, so we're much better than that. Let's have a look at the grind for the tank now. I'm pretty sure I was able to go straight to top radio and engine. Then it's a progression through here. Now, some of these guns aren't great. And most of the thing is you struggle with pen, 128 pen, 115. And this is the gun which is the top gun on the medium tank at this tier. So to get to the next tank you have to get the turret. And look, the turret does give you an extra 30 hit points. It increases the traverse speed by 3 and increases your view range by 30 meters. So, you know, if you want to keep the tank or play the tank and elite it, you definitely need it. And it also allows you to get the top gun. And the top gun is a good gun and is a lot more fun to play than the other gun. It has a 7.89 rate of fire, which is not bad for a gun that does what this gun does. Has 160 pen, which is good at tier 6, and does 240 damage, which is also pretty good. 0.38 accuracy is not as good as we'd like, but you know, for close to medium work, it's okay. The aiming time of 2.3 is pretty good and does work well with this tank. So basically, look, you're not doing anywhere near the 390 damage of the KV-1S, but it's pretty comparable to most of the other tanks, and I'm pretty sure the KV-85 that's coming along is going to have actually a very similar gun to this. So yeah, it's alright, and basically you need to pop up, take a shot, pop back, and like KV-1Ss, things like that, you will reload more quickly than them. So there is that. There's not a lot more to say about this tank. My crew is currently 100% trained, but I will let you know if they're not in the games. And they're all working on their first skill. The commander's working on Mentor, Snapshot, Repairs, Smooth Ride, Situational Awareness for the radio operator, and Repairs for the loader. I have binoculars, camouflage net, and toolkit fitted, small repair kit, large first aid kit fitted. Let's have a look at Tank Inspector and then get into some gameplay. So the M6 Heavy Tank in Tank Inspector. We'll go straight to the colorized view and check out the armor. We can see here that the lower and part of the upper hull here is 102mm thick, which is not too bad. Now that is a slight upgrade. Well, it was 102 on the T1 as well, but the section from here to here, just this section along here, was 70mm on the T1 because it's quite sloped, and that's been upgraded, and that's 102mm as well now. On the upper part of the hull here, 83mm is exactly the same as it was on the T1. This little driver's sort of port section here is 70mm, and that was a bit bigger on the T1, so that's been made smaller on this tank, which is also an improvement. But let's face it, this 83mm here, most tanks at tier 6 will easily penetrate that. Even if we are hull down, they're still going to pen it without too much problem. The mantlet and turret exactly the same as it was on the T1. The turret is exactly the same. So we've got 102mm here, and there are parts where I was going to say there are parts where it overlays, but I don't think there actually are. It's just a 102mm mantlet. Oh, there's just a tiny section there where it overlays a little bit, but that's about it. So 102mm, and then on the sides, of course, we have the 83mm again as well, but it is quite well angled on the sides, and it is pretty much giving a ricochet most of the time, even for a 122mm gun. Turning to the side of the tank, the side is exactly the same as the T1, it is awful at 44mm. We do have spaced armor here, helping to protect the tracks from damage from artillery. Rear of the tank is 41. The top deck is 25, and higher tier artilleries, such as tier 7 and tier 8, can easily one-shot this tank. That's about all there is to say about it. It does have great gun depression, and you pretty much, I found, have to use the hills, pop over and shoot just like the T1, and use it a bit like a medium tank. Brawling with this tank, you really have to pop in, shoot, pop back. You don't want to stay in front of someone because your chances of you bouncing a shot on this are pretty slim, even off the turret now, with it being a tier higher. The T1 you could kind of get away with it, but this one, very difficult to do so. That said though, the gun is very good, quite reliable, and does do pretty well. So the map is Ensk. We're in our tier 6 American heavy tank, the M6, and it's a tier 6 game. The enemy has 6 tier 6 tanks, and one of them is artillery. We have more heavy tanks than the enemy team, so we should be able to move through the town fairly well. And with this matchup, there's nothing that can really bounce shots from us except perhaps the ARL-44's frontal plate might be able to bounce some shots. So our gun should have no problems penetrating anyone here. ELC was kind of waiting for us, but One thing about the ELC, it has to point at what it's shooting at, so it's hard for it to get away quick. And we get a shot. ARL, no, here he comes. So we tracked the ARL there, and I got hit by a Panzer SFL for my trouble. I only did 47 damage, so he's firing HE. Probably was hoping for a more lightly armoured target than myself. He won't do much good with that AMX-40 there either, I would imagine. Alright, I've just been hit by artillery, which has tracked me. I'd say it landed next to me because it didn't do much damage, only 49. I've got to get out of here now because artillery will smash me. And that was an FV304. That's a very rapid firing artillery, so I can't stick around. I've got to get moving, so time to push now. Whole bunch of tanks there. Our guys are not doing much, which is fair enough. They're probably waiting for me to do something, so here I come. I expected there to be people. There's no one there. Where are all the tanks? There's 10 of them sitting there. No one's in there. There we go. Alright, so that's the guy we hit before. Now we finished him. You can see there the T-34 sticking his nose out a little bit. Oh, Panzer 4D. Didn't have a lot of health, so it was an easy kill for us. So you can see here me panning back and looking. You see that T-34 sticking out from the building there when you zoom back. So I'm lining him up. And for a second, another tank seemed to have flashed up next to him. I don't know if that's a bug in the game, or whether, because it was facing the other way, or whether it was just a tank there, or kind of disappeared. I don't know. Got hit by an SU-85 for 64. He's also firing HE. What's with everyone firing HE? They're all trying to one-shot kill each other with HE. It's good for me, because a heavy tank, it does less than a normal gun. So, can we pin an AMX-40? Yes, we can. SU-85 actually does a bit of damage to him this time because he hits me in the side, and the side's armour on these tanks is very, very weak. So I'd like to hopefully get a shot at him later on because he's annoyed me. And my radio operator has been knocked out as well. Anyway, it looks like we'll win this game very convincingly now. The enemy only has a Cheeto and 3 artillery left. Also, the Panzer SFL hitting me with HE. Is that artillery? Oh, he's artillery. No wonder he's using HE. Okay. That explains it. I thought it was the Panzer tank destroyer, but it's the artillery. So he was pretty much waiting for me at 304. He gets a shot into me. Doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, and he really should stop behind that building, but he's not smart enough. Oh, did I just track him? Did I just track an FV304? Come off it. Alright, now we get to finish him. Someone else got the Panzer SFL. I really wanted to finish him, but anyway. Cheeto, yes please. And someone else gets the kill. Oh, darn it. We would have got Top Gun if we'd got that kill. Ah well. So it was in fact a Class 1 game, which is not too bad. And you can see we actually had a fair bit to do with quite a few tanks. It went fairly quickly though. It was fairly intense. We finished on top for experience and not on top for damage. Our SU-100 did more damage, did 1910, but we were probably spotting more of our damage than the SU-100 was. And we got 5 kills. The SU-100 only ended up with 1, so I don't know what went on there, but I think we were just finishing tanks off. So we fired 12 shots. All 12 of those shots hit and all 12 of them penetrated. So 100% on the score sheet there. But of course it was all close range. Now when it says 12 penetrated, one of them was of course just track damage. Remember that FV304, we tracked it, didn't do anything to it when we tracked it. So it still counts as a pen when you damage tracks, even though you don't do any hit points worth of damage. We did do 1656 damage, which is not too bad at tier 6. We received 9 hits and only one of them didn't penetrate. But then again, it was mostly HE, which is kind of, you know, almost always does a little bit of damage. We did manage to block a bit of damage though, that shot that did bounce. We spotted 2 vehicles. We damaged 8, destroying 5, which is pretty good. And income, 34,000 and 28,000 profit. So you can see the ammunition, standard ammunition, is very, very cheap. And 954 raw XP is enough for a Class 1. I didn't get Mastery in this tank, but I suppose if I kept playing it long enough, I probably would. It's not a bad tank to drive, especially at tier 6.
Time to roll out.
Alright, so it's Halluf. It's a tier 7 match. We're in our tier 6 M6 heavy tank. And it's an encounter battle. I think it's called encounter mode. Anyway, there's one base and we both have to capture it or wipe each other out, whichever one comes first. And as I said, this tank kind of needs to be played a bit like a medium tank. So rather than going with all the heavies to the other side of the map, which is the brawling area for the heavy tanks, and for TDs sort of go on Overwatch, I've decided to come down here, which is more of a sort of a light tank, medium tank position, and just see if anyone tries to get round the back to get our arty and see if I can take care of them. That's my initial idea, or just to intercept anyone trying to come through. So I come up on the hill because I've got great gun depression, and I'll see if I can spot if there's any TDs sitting on the other side as well. Now one of our light tanks is already in the cap, which is pretty bold at this stage of the game, but you never know, sometimes you can pull off those manoeuvres. So, not spotting anything, I decided to make my way across. Seem to have made that quite safe here now. I'm going to try and make my way up the ridge here. A little bit harder to do in this tank because it's not super fast. But it's more of a medium tank sort of thing to do. Now I'm a little bit worried up here that there'll be TDs waiting up here, and I haven't got sixth sense. I'm just hoping I haven't been spotted. I just stopped for a second just to see if I spot anything, or I don't want to be too far out in the open if I am spotted, because I want to be able to move quickly and get out of the way. I'm just edging forward a little bit at a time. And here we are. The SU-100. We get a nice shot into the side of that, and our spotting enables our TDs on the other side to get shots into it, and it's now dead. So that was a good move. So we've kind of already been a worthwhile tank. Okay, enemy leopard.
Critical hit.
Tracked him. Oh, uses a repair kit.
Critical hit.
We get a critical hit, so we do track damage again. Oh, come on. Well, I'm blind firing to hopefully hit it, but I feel like I was ripped off pretty badly there. Now, an E25 you just saw there has come across now as well. Now that he knew the coast was clear, so he's come, but looks like he's trying to go for their artillery. Hoping it's up around the other side of that hill just there. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm not too worried about going after artillery at this stage. I'm a bit too slow to spend time doing that. I'm looking for other targets. You can see the leopard again. Let's see if we can go. Okay, he's got to go this time. This guy's got 9 lives. No way! Well, we can see our, what is it, 0.38 accuracy going to work there. 0.38 accuracy is not really good enough for long range shooting, as you just saw. Okay, we spotted a tiger. This guy's 310 meters away, so not too far. We should be able to hit him.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
Oh, bounced off him. Well, that one looked like it hit. I don't know whether it went in or not. And if he's still there, that one would have hit as well. So would that, I think. We'll see if we see him again, if he's been damaged. Actually, there he is. Yeah, he looks like, I think we hit him at least once. He's looking this way now. Right in the back. Oh, he fired at us and just missed. It went over to my right. Another one in. Our reload is faster than his. We get another one in. Now I decide to move before he gets a chance to fire a shot. Don't really want to get hit by the tiger. Also, I need to keep moving anyway because he's been spotting me. Artillery would be zooming in on me, so we need to get a move on. E25 didn't appear to find any artillery up there, so he's still looking for their arty. I'm moving up to this bush now, see if I can spot this tiger again, get any more shots on it. We are winning at the moment, it's 9-7. There goes our E25. Here comes our leopard coming up as well. Everyone's coming up to join the party. E25's going up there to try and find artillery, which should probably is up there. Should be. And he's found artillery. But he's been killed by it. Artillery got him.
Enemy armor is hit.
So I think our leopard got the first shot into him and I got the second shot into him. There is the tiger. I'm not going to try and face him there because he's obviously spotted me and he's ready for me. So I'm going to go around the other side and see if I can get him on a different angle. I know there's no artillery now, so I'm not particularly fussed about anything else around here getting me. Looks like it was a KV-1S of ours, was it, that got into him there? We're winning quite convincingly now. It's 12-9. So we have 6 tanks remaining. The enemy only has 3 tanks remaining. And we've still got a tank on cap. 29% capped, 30% capped. I can see there's a T-29 IS there, so I'm just waiting for them to move forward, as I'm sure they will, and get some good shots on them from the side here. Well, I thought they'd move forward. It looks like they have. They've eliminated our tank on cap. Here we go. Miss. Another miss. What was that about? Miss. I'm just guessing now. He disappeared. I can't still be up there. That's probably a bad move on my part. Oh, there he is, down the bottom. Okay. Bounce off the side of his turret. Top engine deck. Here we go. I just bounced off the top of his engine deck. Finally, a shot goes in. This is ridiculous. Okay, that one went in. That's good. That one hit his mantlet. Fair enough. That was the upper hull. That should have gone in. From this height, they should have gone through like a knife through butter. That one bounced probably fair enough. And that one, I think we got his machine gun port, or close to it. Anyway, it went in. And we get the kill on that one. Whew. Okay, well, things have changed. They now have 3 tanks and we have 2 tanks. And I can see our KV-1S is currently just got hit by something. Things have changed. So yeah, we have 3 tanks, they have 2 tanks. Sorry, wrong way around. Yeah, we have 3. Oh. Okay. Now we only have 2 tanks. It's 2 versus 2 now. I missed the IS there. We get one into him. 105 damage. 106 damage with that shot. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, this gun, although I think it's supposed to be 120, isn't it? We bounced the shot. No! What a bad time to... Oh no, he's killed our KV-1S. Oh, missed. Come on, we've got to get him. Oh, I only did 98 damage. He's only got 16 hit points left. Come on, we've got to get him. This is bad now because the other tank will be homing in on us. Ooh. Now, have a look at the chat. You can see there's a guy named Telly Ho is saying, great way to take a lead and flush it down the toilet, losers. Okay. Thanks, man. Yes, we did flush our lead down the toilet. However, you are dead. Anyway, it's me and a Cromwell. There's 6 minutes 30 seconds left, so there's plenty of time. And I'm on full health, which is good. I think, from recollection, he is damaged, but I could be wrong. Looking at the colour of his name, he is a pretty good player, and he has got 3 kills, so I'm trying to be cautious. And I'm not going to race down to the cap, because as soon as I hit the cap, he'll know where I am, and he will be able to shoot me without me seeing him, because he will have better camouflage values than me. He also has great gun depression and he's faster than me. So I really don't want to be on cap with him shooting down at me from hidden locations. So I decide to go round to the other side and see what I can do. It says, Unhook, you have more hit points, armor, pen and alpha than the Cromwell. Cap FFS. So he's telling me that I should cap. I think that's a really bad idea because I'll tell him where I am and he'll shoot the crap out of me. Now, what's he saying now? Go the cap. He has to face you. He doesn't actually have to face me with all these hills and mountains. He just has to pop out, shoot me, pop back, go to another location, pop out, shoot me, pop back. And I won't even get a shot at him because, yeah, I've just typed in there, I won't spot him. That's the trouble, is he'll get shots on me and I won't be able to see where he's shooting from, or he'll just move around and keep shooting me. I think it's a terrible idea. So I'm trying to find him. I'm hoping he's waiting over here somewhere for me to cap, and he's just waiting to shoot me as I pop down to the cap. So I'm hoping that I will find him hiding around here somewhere. I might just speed this up a little bit to 2 times because the tank isn't too fast. And as you can see, I haven't been able to find him. I decide to come out a little bit wide, just see if he's maybe hiding behind one of these rocks, and he's not. I am feeling the pressure now with 4 minutes left that I do need to cap, even though I don't think it's a real good idea. But I don't have a choice because he's too fast, and if I just keep chasing him, he keeps running away, I'll never find him. So I decide to go on a cap, try and draw him out and hope he makes a mistake. But he's a pretty good player, so I don't think he's going to make a mistake. Oops, there he was. Okay, so he was waiting for me to come down a cap. He was waiting there though, and I kind of bypassed that location. I didn't go to it. I skipped it. If I had been more thorough and gone through that, all the edge locations, I would have probably seen him, had a chance to shoot him back and kill him. So I'm assuming he will probably either come out the same spot or come out around to my right there, up the top. So I'm getting a position where I can aim at both shots without exposing too much of my tank. However, he could come out anywhere. If he's smart, and he probably is, he'll come out somewhere else. But I'm doing what I can. I'm feeling very uncomfortable about this situation. So I'm sitting here so I can spot from pretty much wherever he comes up. I'll at least be able to spot him, hopefully. Rather than... uh-oh, there he is. So he's been spotted. Oh, I'm in a really bad spot. I can't even put my gun at him. 1 shot, he's got a shot into me. 2 shots into me, this could be the end of the game. 3 shots into me. And as I get my gun in position to bear it on him, he decides to move. He is on low health. He's a 1-shot kill. I decide to move forward. There's no point staying on cap, because he can just shoot me every time and take my cap points away anyway. And I don't want to get shot in the way up, so I'm going straight for the middle of this rock, because then he'll have to come around either side of the rock, and I will have time to maneuver and get my gun at him before he can basically get behind me and basically track me and stuff me up. So I'm getting to this position so I can turn around, and I'll be able to deal with him if he comes around either side. And that's why I'm just backing back into here for a second to see if he comes out and tries to finish me off. What to do now? Our friend is saying draw equals loss. I think he also said something like earlier that he said you sit on cap, he has to come to you. I just typed in, he just showed that he doesn't have to come for me. Now he's typing, thanks for losing, mate. What a nice cheery chap he is. What does he say now? Get onto the cap or we cannot win. Well, he's just demonstrated that if I get onto the cap, we can't win that way either. We're not going to win that way, so I'm going to try something else. So now he's saying, well played, Speedy. So he's telling the player on the opposition team that he's played well. And the player on the other team has played well. He's done the only things he's been able to do, although he is using gold ammo. You grabbed a draw out of a loss. Respect. Well, not really, mate. Grabbing a, like you just said, a draw is a loss. Now he's saying you grabbed a draw out of a loss. And that's respect. But it's not respect if I do it. Underhook, you need to learn to play. There you go. What a nice guy. So anyway, the other guy's gone on to cap. So he actually wanted to win as well. So now let's see if we can turn the tables. And there he is. I'm going to shoot as fast as I can. Oh, that's so satisfying. Well, that was so sweet. Getting the eventual victory in that game. I know you're going to find this hard to believe, but Tallyho did not contact me to congratulate me. I'm not sure why. Look, he's probably a good guy, and he was obviously a good player. His name was Light Blue, so he's got good stats. But, you know, just because you have a strategy doesn't mean I don't have a strategy. And, yeah, anyway. So, next screen. So we can see we have finished on top for experience and not on top for damage. I think looks like our IS was on top for damage in that game. And enemy player, the Cromwell, did do a really good job, and just got pipped at the end there. He just didn't have many hit points. If he had had this full hit points, he probably would have won the game. And we fired 39 shots, of which 29 hit, and some of our long range shots missed by a mile, as you saw. Of the 29 hit, 21 penetrated, and some of those 21 penetrations were just track damage as well. We did 1,859 damage, and from a distance over 300 metres was 1,348 of that, which is most of it really. We received 3 hits, all of which penetrated, so the armour really doesn't hold up. Enemies spotted 1. We damaged 7 vehicles, destroying 3. 819 assistance damage, and 9 base defence points are there at the end. 42,000 income, and I think I did use a couple of repair kits, I think, and I ended up with only 22,000 in profit. You can see here the 1118 raw XP is still only a class 1, so mastery must be around about the 1200 XP or 1250 XP mark. So there's people having reasonable games in this tank. Thank you for watching my review of the M6. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more reviews, please subscribe to ReginaldESQ. Have fun.